I've just been asked to speak really as the CEO of Comic Relief, as a member organisation of the Global Campaign. I'm very privileged to be here and to have that opportunity. And I think the first thing I'd like to say is that these things don't happen with one organisation acting alone. It's important to note that the Global Campaign has amassed an enormous and impressive network of friends and organisations right across the world. And it's people working together that will help ultimately to deliver the aims of this impressive campaign. We were able, in our own way, to do something similar with Make Poverty History in 2005, which is often used as a benchmark now, and people say, well, can you make these campaigns a bit like Make Poverty History? And I'm here to assure you that this campaign will have the same creative drive, the same passion, the same level of inspiration and commitment, and I'm sure the same level of effectiveness as that campaign had in 2005, and we hope it will go on to surpass it and help make sure that this Millennium Development Goal is delivered. You know how it works. I mean, it's a simple thing, really. It's a simple request to collect signatures, and it's a simple idea: education for all. And we might be wondering how those things link together, but of course, it's amazing to see these iconic individuals in the room, the great men of kind of football who've stood on the field and impressed millions of fans across the world. And they and the game itself plays a really critical part because it's able to push the word out. But this campaign will only work if it inspires millions of ordinary citizens, ordinary men and women, to do this very thing, to put their signature to the piece of paper, to the website. The idea is to raise 30 million signatures and to get all the football fans in the world behind it. And you know the way this works. If citizens in their millions show their commitment and support for something, then of course that has an influence on policymakers, who then have an influence on their own governments. And we should be sure that this will only come to pass, really. The Millennium Development Goal will only be reached if the tax dollars are found to do it. And those tax dollars will only be found if millions and millions of citizens across the world do it. So I thank those of you in the room who've come to promote the campaign. I say to the men and women of the press, we have to make a noise about it. Obviously, that's the way the world works today. The media have to get behind this 100%. But why wouldn't you? It's a simple request. Education for all. Every kid in the world deserves the right to go to school. I'm just going to show you a photograph. I hope it's going to come up. Is it? Yes. I was in Zambia last week. I took Tim Lovejoy, who's the well-known sports presenter here in the UK, and we visited this school. It was a school of 250 children, and it had one teacher. The teacher had classes 1 and 2 in the first classroom, 2 and 3 and 4 in the second, and 5 and 6 in the third. And he set work for 5 and 6, then he went next door to 3 and 4, set work for them, then he went next door and set work for 1 and 2, then he went back to 5 and 6 and checked how they were doing with that work, and that's how it went for the whole day. We asked those kids how far they walked to school. One girl said 2 hours to school, 2 hours back to school at the end of the day. We asked them how many textbooks there were in the school. There were no textbooks for the children. We asked them if they'd eaten before they came to school. The answer was no. We asked them if they ate while they were at school. The answer was no. The first and only meal of the day they received was at 6 o'clock in the evening once they got home. So you can see how tough this is. And yet those kids, in a weird way, were the lucky ones because they're in school. And we looked at their work and their exercise books. And you know, the maths problems were laid out in beautiful handwriting. There were ticks across the thing. They were getting it right. As Hillary Clinton said, you know, everyone has the ability to do well at school if they can go to school. So as well as getting kids into school, I suppose the point I'm making is children also need a quality education while they're there. So I'd encourage particularly people from the media here to really get behind this. This campaign's got to last until next summer. And the only way it's going to last is if you commit as individuals, as editors, as writers, as producers, to promote one goal: education for all. Thank you very much.